We're entering the home stretch of crafting the perfect experience and nearing the break week that everyone's been looking forward to. When you get to celebrate all the amazing work you've done so far, whether you choose to take off, get caught up, or get a head start on the Experience Marketing Essentials module, congrats on all you've done. As Jason Weiland Sr. shared on the Facebook group, I've done more to move forward in my business in the last few weeks than I have in the last 5 years. I've read similar notes over and over again, so huge congrats. In this training, you'll receive your 10x delivery checklist, which you can use to guide you in experiencifying every aspect of your product. You won't be creating every aspect of your product until after this program is over, but I still wanted to give this to you now, since you may need to create a few pieces so your students, customers, and clients receive something when they buy, whether that's a bonus, a pre-training, or a welcome package. If you've been doing your chatterboxing consistently, then chances are that you may have already had the experience that Masterclasser Marla Evans had, before we've even gotten to the Experience Marketing Essentials module. Holy dollar signs, Batman, I got a sale. Stuff just got real. Oh, yes, it did. Now it's time to pull out that experience escalation plan, dust it off, and push it out of the nest. It's time to have fun and experiencify your product delivery. Keep in mind that the experience formula stuff may feel new and different to you. You may not have had a lot of experience up until now of being part of an experience product. So you may feel like your first attempts at flying have been a little bit shaky so far, and that's to be expected. Before you can build a Learjet, you have to be able to build something that can get into the air. And no matter how good your plan, that can take a little bit of experimentation. Remember, we're making experience products here and not boring old information products that leave your students, customers, and clients behind. We're making super fun, shiny, and inviting experiences to take your people to the skies. Whether you have one customer or 100, you get to test drive the 10 core experiences of the experience formula as you deliver your new product, and this training will help you do it. So take a moment to pull out your experience escalation plan worksheets where you started brainstorming how to weave the 10 core experiences into your product. I'm including these worksheets again with the worksheets for today's session in case you missed them the first time around. I'm also including a spreadsheet called the 10x Delivery Checklist, which you can use as your guide as you craft each part of your product to make sure that you're including all the elements you need to engage the socks off your new customers, clients, and students. Most of our 10 experiences can be used in every training, deliverable, or interaction, with the exception of mission accomplished, which you save for the end. The first 6 experiences, mission, future self, bird's eye view, constant wins, normalizing challenges, and peak experiences, can be woven into every aspect of your experience product, as you'll see in just a moment. Then experiences 7 through 9, feedback loops, community, and unstoppable momentum, often show up most powerfully in between the main trainings and deliverables, though you can definitely incorporate them into your trainings as well. As you'll see, feedback loops, community, and unstoppable momentum create experiences in the cracks of your product, plugging the holes, sanding down the friction points, and building a powerful container that keeps your tribe engaged. These 3 experiences relate to the overall energetic arc of your product, or how your students, customers, and clients feel at any given time. I like to think of these 3 experiences as a warm, snuggy blanket that you pull over your product to keep everyone close and tucked in for the ride.
Blankets are okay, but they can slip and slide. And when you need to reach for something, your hands are trapped inside. Now, there's the Snuggie.
So how do you begin to weave all of this into your products? That's the question we'll be answering in this training. The first step is to define what deliverables you're going to include in your experience product based on what kind of product you're creating. You'll have different deliverables inside your experience product based on whether you're building a one-on-one, one-to-few, or one-to-many product, and it's important to choose which deliverables you want to include. If you're creating a one-to-one product, a lot of times your experience product may include private coaching or consulting calls, professional services, physical or virtual deliverables, worksheets, books, workbooks, tools, templates, and resources, physical gifts or products, any kind of custom resources that you create yourself, introductions, audios and videos, emails, and perhaps bonus access to one-to-few or one-to-many products you've created or somebody else has created. Now, if you're creating a one-to-few or one-to-many product, your product may include live virtual trainings, live virtual group coaching, live virtual hands-on interactive webinars, workshops, or events, physical events, retreats, or workshops, Facebook group access, membership site access, pre-recorded videos or video replays, pre-recorded audios or audio replays, worksheets, books, workbooks, tools, templates, and resources, physical products or gifts, software, slides and slide handouts, emails, and bonus access to one-to-few or one-to-many programs. So once you've chosen what deliverables you want to include with your product, step 2 is to use the experience formula to experientify the key deliverables in your product. Have the 10x delivery checklist by your side so you can consciously choose to weave in each experience at key moments in your trainings and other deliverables. As you get better at this, it will become like second nature and you'll no longer need the checklist. You'll start to do this naturally on your own. I'm going to show you exactly how this works using the example of the Experience Product Masterclass. The Masterclass pretty much includes every single possible deliverable on the one-to-few and one-to-many list. And as you're going to see, it's possible to experientify pretty much every deliverable on the list. To keep this training as simple as possible, I'm going to focus on 6 of the most important deliverables. I'm going to focus on pre-recorded training videos, group coaching, emails, membership sites, Facebook group, and physical products and gifts. Now, other deliverables such as worksheets and slides are there to supplement the main video trainings. So if the trainings are experiential, then these other deliverables will reflect that. The additional bonus access to our software and other one-to-few and one-to-many programs were all bonuses. I'm not going to discuss those in this training since they follow many of the same principles of the other 6 deliverables that I'm focused on here. If you understand these 6 things, you'll understand how to do this with anything. Finally, I want the physical in-person event to be a surprise for you when you attend, so I'm not going to discuss that here either. Today we're going to deep dive into how to experientify these 6 core deliverables, starting with your trainings. Now, if you're not doing a one-to-few or one-to-many product that includes trainings, you can think about your one-on-one calls, meetings, or interactions in the same way. Most everything I'm saying about trainings can relate to private coaching or consultant calls too. Sound like a plan? Good. So when it comes time to designing trainings, the first 6 experiences in the experience formula are the most critical to weave into every single training, whether you deliver it live or pre-recorded. Mission, future self, bird's eye view, constant wins, normalizing challenges, and peak experiences. Though as you'll see, experiences 7 to 9 can also play a critical role. That brings us to step 3 of this process. Once you've added one of the 10 core experiences into that deliverable, simply type yes into the appropriate cell on the 10x delivery checklist. Here's the checklist, and here's the cell for checking off that you've added mission to the first interaction or training. I gave you lots of examples already for how to add each of these experiences into your product in the last 8 trainings, and you've already done a lot of brainstorming in your experience escalation plan. So I'm just going to quickly cover a few simple ways to incorporate each experience into each of your trainings using one of my trainings as an example. When it comes to mission, it really helps to reinforce your product mission in each training and show how each training supports them on their path to mission accomplished. You usually do this right in the intro for your training when you share what you're going to teach and why this training matters. I'm going to be using the Take a Bird's Eye View training as an example throughout this video to open the kimono and show you how I applied the experience formula to this one specific training. Here's how I introduced that training in a way that connects to our overall product mission of designing, marketing, and making $2,000 or a whole lot more from an experience product in 10 weeks or less. In this video, you'll learn how to develop a signature system, process, or framework to take your customers, clients, and students from point A to point B, from where they are to where they want to be, from mission to mission accomplished. In other words, how to get results for your customers consistently and reliably, time after time after time. Notice that I don't mention the product mission word for word here. I do include the exact mission fairly often, since your mission gains power with repetition. That said, there are 50 trainings in the masterclass, and it would get a little boring and predictable if I always reinforce the mission in the exact same way. So what I do here is say that this is how you take your customers from mission to mission accomplished, which is a core part of having an experienced product. And because the mission of this product is to create an experienced product and not a regular old info product, this directly relates to the overall product mission. Are you getting this? Great. So once you've done this, you can check off mission in your 10x delivery checklist for that particular training. Now let's talk about the core experience of future self. This is the vision of what's possible, why this training matters to them, and how their lives will change when they implement this particular training. In addition to having a future self vision for your product as a whole, think about how you can create a future self vision for each training. Going back to our bird's eye view training, I spent quite a bit of time on this one, since I know how challenging yet important it is to create a bird's eye view for your product. So here's an excerpt of how I cover this core experience in that training. Having a signature system, process, or framework does 5 very important things for your product. First, it allows you to develop a huge amount of self-trust and confidence in the value that you create for someone else, since you know that you have a proven system, process, or framework to get them the results you promise. Second, it allows you to let go of the doubt and insecurity that many people feel around their products, and especially around having a big promise in your product mission. When you've created a proven system to get results, it's a lot harder to beat yourself up about being a fake, a fraud, or a phony, or all the other ways your inner critic may be telling you that you're not enough, when the truth is you are enough. When you create a signature system, process, or framework, you can lay that voice to rest once and for all, because you'll have the deep knowing that you've done absolutely everything in your power to set your customers up for success. And at some point along the way, they have to take responsibility for themselves too. You can be responsible to your customers without taking responsibility for them. Then, I keep going for another page and some change here. I often spend anywhere from a paragraph to a couple pages on the future self vision for a particular training. Because when people see the importance of something and how it's relevant to them right now, then they're much more likely to do it. Makes sense, right? Sometimes I even come back and share a future self vision again later on in the training. I may cover this a few times in any given training because it's so important to understand why you're doing something. Great. So now that I've incorporated future self vision, I can check it off on my 10x delivery checklist for this training. Moving on to core experience number 3, bird's eye view. I know it's a bit meta to talk about how to address your bird's eye view process in a training on creating your bird's eye view. You want to connect each interaction and training to your bird's eye view approach to getting your customers from mission to mission accomplished, so they always know exactly where they are on their journey and can relax into the process. I address this in several places in this particular training, starting right at the beginning when I introduce this training and how it relates to the overall product mission. In this video, you'll learn how to develop a signature system, process, or framework to take your customers, clients, and students from point A to point B, from where they are to where they want to be, from mission to mission accomplished. In other words, how to get results for your customers consistently and reliably, time after time after time. Then I come back to this a few more times in the training. Next, I share where this training fits into the overall experience formula framework. Bird's eye view is the third core experience in the experience formula because it literally provides a bird's eye view or map of the terrain that you're going to cover in your experience product to take your customer from mission to mission accomplished. Then I address it again a moment later when I tie it into the 5-step product sales sequence that I also taught at the beginning of the master class. People don't want to feel like they're gambling with their wants, needs, and desires. They don't want to feel like success is based on luck, chance, or trial and error. They're investing in your product to take the luck, chance, and trial and error out of the equation. And having a signature system, process, or framework allows you to shift from saying, just trust me, to being able to confidently say, I'm going to take you by the hand and lead you through a proven step-by-step process to get this result. It's a big distinction that will help you sell your products with confidence. That's why your bird's eye view framework falls into step 4 of your 5-step product sales sequence. Tell me more. Because once you've gotten attention and people know what you do and why they should care, they're going to start getting curious about how you do it, how you're going to fulfill on the promises you've made. They'll literally ask you, how do you do that? Can you see that in addition to sharing where this training fits into the overall systems and frameworks of the course, I'm also embedding more future self vision here. I'm training in a really layered and multidimensional way, so my students understand why this matters and can build the motivation they need to actually do it. Okay, now go ahead and check Bird's Eye View off your 10x delivery checklist for this training too. Moving on to constant wins, or helping your students feel like they're winning the game that you set up. You integrate constant wins by giving your students, customers, and clients the experience of building up their confidence and motivation one small, easy win at a time, so they can feel good about the work you're doing together and make their way step by step to bigger actions and bigger results. Now, this is a tricky one when it comes to this training on creating your bird's eye view, because this is one of the most challenging and time-consuming actions in the entire master class. So how did I embed smaller wins into a bigger process like this one? Well, the first thing I did before we got into the actual how-to is walk people through a quick illustration of how powerful frameworks are and how they instantly and indelibly position you in the minds of your audience. I showed examples of 11 different frameworks and asked you if you could identify who created them. Now, most likely you couldn't identify all 11 of them, but you did identify at least a handful. That gave you the feeling of being in the know, a small but important way to boost your confidence as you realize that you're already familiar with many different bird's eye view frameworks, and you may know 1 or 2 of them very well. Then I gave you a series of 10 questions that you could ask yourself to help uncover your bird's eye view as an exercise, which is just one of 3 actions needed to define your bird's eye view. I split this training into 3 different videos to simplify the process rather than giving you the whole thing up front. First, you thought about your bird's eye view with basic questions. Then you went through the 7-step product brainstorming process. Then you translated each step in your bird's eye view into feature and benefit statements. So there you have it. I embedded a couple wins into this training, and you can now check that off the 10x delivery checklist. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. Even though I included a couple wins in this training, it wasn't enough to provide the experience of constant wins. Because this particular topic is hugely challenging for people, and it takes time before someone feels like they're winning at this. After all, this is what their product is all about and how they're different, and it's easy to spend a lot of time agonizing over your bird's eye view system. I can't create my students' products for them, so the only way out is through. You just have to do the work, and this piece requires real effort. That's where core experience number 5 comes in, normalizing challenges. Normalizing challenges works hand in hand with constant wins. If I didn't normalize the challenges of this particular step on the journey, people probably wouldn't feel like they were winning. They wouldn't feel like they could do this, and they wouldn't feel like it was possible to create a signature system, process, or framework around their work. So how did I normalize the challenges around this one? Well, first of all, I showed you the evolution of my frameworks, from when I was just starting out with simple frameworks to the more sophisticated frameworks that I'm creating today. Then I showed how even the most basic frameworks serve to grow my business. So I framed for you that you didn't have to create a masterpiece to win here. Simply having a framework is a huge win. Still, I knew that people would have the tendency to overcomplicate this and put pressure on themselves to create a mind-blowing system right out of the gate. So I normalized that challenge by playing a 5-minute video clip of me coaching my student Amanda Leonardo to a breakthrough around her framework. At the beginning of the video, she had no idea what her framework was and didn't think it was possible to create a framework around her topic. And at the end, she had it and couldn't believe how simple it could be. I'm just going to play the last 15 seconds of that video now so you can hear the emotion in her voice as she had her breakthrough.
Right. Amazing.
So see, there's a process to everything.
There is, yeah. Thank you so much for clearing that up for me. This has been a struggle for me for probably about 2 years now. You literally just cleared it up in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
By demonstrating that this breakthrough could happen in just 5 minutes by asking the right questions that took someone who had been stuck for years in this area to clarity, I was able to powerfully normalize this challenge. Case studies and demonstrations like this are a powerful tool for normalizing challenges, and they aid in retention too. And I did it in a way that also incorporated core experience number 6, peak experiences. Could you hear the clarity and relief in Amanda's voice during that clip? She was having a peak experience in that interaction. Peak experiences happen based on external events, usually related to sports, art, religion, nature, connecting with another human being, or the process of seeing or discovering something for the first time. It's clear in this clip that Mandy was seeing and discovering something for the first time. And peak experiences are contagious. When you witness someone else having a peak experience, you feel something. You connect with their emotion. And you have a peak experience too because you're seeing them see something for the first time. Now, there are a lot of other ways to create peak experiences, such as sharing firsthand experiences, multisensory language, curiosity and surprise, multidimensional teaching, pattern interrupts, and shock and awe. In a couple places in this training, I share some of my process for finding my bird's eye view system, so you could feel like you were discovering something new through my eyes, through my direct experience. I always make it a point to try to say things in as vivid a way as possible, using power words and language from the 5 senses. When I play that 5-minute clip of coaching Mandy, it creates curiosity, as everyone listening is wondering, how is this going to play out? Is she going to be able to break through? It's also surprising because you probably didn't expect that I was going to shift up the training in this way, since I had never done this before in the program. That's part of my commitment to multidimensional teaching. I'm not just teaching the how-to, I'm teaching mindset. I'm speaking to your emotions. I'm connecting with you person to person. Then, of course, there's pattern interrupts. I love throwing in random video clips and things to keep you on your toes, so it never gets boring or predictable, like this clip that I put right at the beginning of Take a Bird's Eye View. You feel something when you watch this woman cross the finish line, don't you? So there you have it. We've included normalizing challenges and peak experiences in this training, so check and check. Now on to feedback loops, core experience number 7. As I mentioned, experiences 7 to 9 often happen most powerfully in between the trainings and deliverables. That said, there are a few ways to create feedback loops in your actual trainings too. The one I most commonly use is a technique called a trial close or tie down. It's a mini feedback loop that's often used in sales and marketing that allows you to check in with your audience, whether you're speaking to someone one-to-one or doing a one-to-many webinar, and see if they're following along with you and getting the full value out of what you're sharing. If someone says that they're getting this and they see how it applies to them, it's a powerful indicator that they're ready for the sale. Or if they've already bought, it tells you that you're on the right track and receiving value. One of the feedback loops I used in the Take a Bird's Eye View training was to ask people if they knew who created each of the 11 frameworks that I featured. This has students thinking to themselves, ooh, that was Einstein, that was Janet Atwood, that was Stephen Covey, and so on. And if I were delivering this training live, I could ask them to write their answers in the chat and attribute answers to specific people. That would provide a lot of social proof on the power of what I was talking about. And then at the end of presenting all 11 frameworks, I asked, can you see how powerful it is to have a signature system, process, or framework for your work? Or even a big idea, concept, or technique? Absolutely. If I were delivering this live, I might say something like, can you see how powerful it is to have a signature system, process, or framework? Let me know in the chat if you're getting this. Then I could read a few answers from the chat, or if we were live in a room, I could say, raise your hand if you're getting this. That is essentially a trial close. You'll have a lot of people either thinking yes or writing yes, and I'm getting this in the chat. If you're delivering live, you'll be able to tell right away that they're following along. If you're doing pre-recorded trainings, you'll have to just imagine that they're following along. That's one of the reasons that I recommend delivering live first. Trial closes are a great way to accentuate the importance of a specific point. Now, the other feedback loop that I integrated into this training was featuring the stories of past students who had done this very exercise. You already saw Amanda's example. I also featured Tinula's story, which created a feedback loop and also helped to normalize challenges and connect students to the wider community. Here's what I said. Tinula was struggling to develop a signature system around her new career coaching business. I helped her realize that a signature system can be as simple as a set of areas that you need to address or work on to get someone the result they want. In her case, it was having a successful and fulfilling career. In a matter of minutes, we were able to brainstorm together 7 areas that she could address through her coaching that would need to be in place for someone to feel both happy and successful in their career. Those areas are personal effectiveness and efficiency, interpersonal communication, impact and influence, recognition and appreciation, growth and challenge, alignment and culture fit, work and life balance. Can you see how easy this can be? As you can see, I also ended this feedback loop with a trial close. Can you see how all of these experiences can stack seamlessly one on top of another to create an engaging experience that has your customers, clients, and students lean in and keep listening? Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we can now check off feedback loops too. And on to community, core experience number 8. First of all, if you're delivering your trainings or group coaching calls live, that's an experience of community in and of itself, especially if you use Zoom meeting like I do, so you can see everyone else on the line and interact with them via chat. If you pre-record trainings like we have, you can consider rebroadcasting pre-recorded trainings at a specific time on Zoom so people can still consume them in community. Then you can show up live and answer questions at the end. You can also create community by featuring past students and customers, which I did throughout the Take a Bird's Eye View training. That usually creates the desire in new students to become a success story. Now, much of the community element happens on the Facebook group and in the group trainings and coach office hours. So let's check this one off on your 10x delivery checklist and move on to unstoppable momentum. Core experience number 9, woohoo! One of the ways you can create unstoppable momentum in each video is by asking people to either pause the video and take action now, or have a countdown timer where you let people know right there in the video to do the work before they progress to the rest of the video, or take action as soon as the video is over. Okay, as soon as this video is over, it'll be your turn to answer these questions and start to flesh out your signature system, process, or framework. Another piece of creating unstoppable momentum is by understanding and revealing the friction points in a particular part of the process, so you can plug the holes in your product and help people keep moving forward. Now, this is similar to normalizing challenges, but it's a bit different in the sense that it's not a specific challenge so much as it is a point of friction, a place where people naturally slow down and get stuck in the process as a whole. Now, I know from experience that creating your bird's eye view is one of the most challenging and time-consuming parts of the process. So I include a slide at the end and say, keep in mind that the only way to get crystal clarity around this is to do the work with a real person, a real beta customer, client, or student. So do what you can to answer these questions and get clear about how you do what you do in a unique way. My goal here is to keep them moving and not get stuck. I also build momentum early on in the program by introducing the concept of get started choices and encouraging people to make get started choices, which you can always change later, rather than putting pressure on themselves to make forever choices, as well as taking laps around the iterate your way to awesome cycle. Oftentimes when you keep going, pieces that you may have gotten stuck on earlier begin to sort themselves out later on in the process. Now, the last piece of unstoppable momentum is simple. At the end of the training, it's great to summarize what they've already done and what's going to happen next, so people feel a sense of progress and accomplishment while anticipating what comes next. I just shared with you how I summarize the action steps at the end. Here's how I tease the next training. Then, in the next training, I'm going to lead you through my 7-step product brainstorming process to deepen into your how, your steps, and your process, so you can create a compelling bird's eye view. Then, in the following video, you're going to learn how to wrap marketing language around your bird's eye view, so you can quickly share the features and benefits of your experience product in a way that has people hand you money. Sound like a plan? As you can see, I'm bookending this training in a way that creates more momentum. Then the final bumper video at the end of the training also enhances the feeling of completion, adding to the feeling of winning and momentum I also show imagery of community in this video. Okay, so let's check off unstoppable momentum on your 10x delivery checklist. As I mentioned, the final experience of mission accomplished doesn't happen until the very end, so you get to experience that one in our final gathering. Now let's talk quickly about using the experience formula in your group coaching calls. Group coaching calls naturally create the experiences of normalizing challenges, feedback loops, and community. And you can show up and facilitate in a way that reinforces the mission, future self-vision, and bird's eye view by contextualizing the questions that people have or the answers that you give in the bigger picture of what you're doing together. You can also create constant wins and unstoppable momentum by celebrating each person and each question asked and really show them how they're winning and moving forward even when they don't feel like they are. When it comes to peak experiences, this often happens when someone has a deeper question that gives you the opportunity to lead them through the process of seeing or discovering something new, which gives everyone listening what I call a side door coaching experience of being a fly on the wall of their transformation. Where possible, I also like to shake things up a bit and have some fun on these calls to create some pattern interrupts, curiosity, and surprise along the way. You can do this simply by being yourself and expressing yourself fully. Try keeping the experience formula in front of you as you lead your group coaching calls as a reminder to integrate some of these elements. Then once your call is over, check off which experiences that you managed to incorporate on the group coaching sheet of your 10x delivery checklist. That will give you the opportunity to reflect on how well you're integrating this stuff and challenge yourself to bring a new experience into your group coaching calls the next time around. As they say, that which is measured improves. Okay, let's move on to how you use the experience formula in your emails. Let me start by reading the email we sent leading into the Take a Bird's Eye View training the first time we released it in 2016. The subject line was EPM, your signature system. Sounds cool, right? Agent 00 Marisa, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to help your customers, clients, and students get results time after time after time. To accomplish this mission, you will need steely gaze, tailored suit, a fancy sports car, a signature system that's guaranteed to get results. Yes. To accept this mission, tune in to today's call, 11 a.m. PST, the bird's eye view. You'll learn how to develop a signature process, system, or framework. It's easier than you think to take your customer, clients, and students from point A to point B, from mission to mission accomplished. With your signature system, you'll be able to get amazing results for your customers over and over and over again. Now, I'm going to skip over all the logistical details for getting on the call and jump to the end of the email. Oh, I almost forgot. This message will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you on the call, agent. Blue skies, Marisa. P.S. Remember to jump your XP total by 20 points this week to win a free Live Your Message t-shirt delivered right to your door. Christine is keeping score and will be announcing winners on Friday. So what did you notice about this email? Yes, the content of the first half includes the core experiences of mission, future self, and bird's eye view. It communicates what you're going to learn, why it matters, and how it fits into the overall product mission. While peak experience may be too strong of a word, we try to make our emails entertaining. We want people to smile as they're reading this, to feel something, more than just consuming information. Then at the end of the email, we reinforce the jump contest, which is a win, a feedback loop, a community event, and a way to build unstoppable momentum. So we managed to very quickly incorporate 8 of the 10 core experiences into this one single email while conveying the logistics for attending the training. Easy, right? While we don't incorporate normalizing challenges in this email, we often normalize challenges in the emails we send. Now, every email does not have to incorporate 8 experiences like this one does, but the more experiences that you can put into your communications, the more momentum you'll create. I'd say it's pretty easy to get at least 4 to 5 experiences into every email once you get the hang of this. Use the email sheet of your 10x delivery checklist to track how you're doing. If you notice you haven't used a particular experience in a few emails, try to get it into your next email. Now let's quickly talk about how to incorporate the experience formula into your membership site, if you're using one at this time. Remember, I recommend keeping your experience product simple and not focusing on creating a big, fancy custom membership site like the one we have right now. I'm only including this example here because I know we have some more advanced students who may be ready for this step. First of all, I reinforce the mission, future self vision, and bird's eye view right in the welcome video, which new students saw after they bought and again on the first page of the membership site. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Experience Product Masterclass. It's Marisa and my team and I are so glad you're here. You have just made one of the single smartest business decisions of your life. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, and you just did, is to design, market, and make $2,000 or more from an experience product in 10 weeks or less, so you can get off the marketing treadmill, make more sales, and get your customers hooked on transforming their lives through you. In just 10 weeks from now, you're going to look back and realize that you've created an amazing, lucrative experience product, a product designed to be effective, fun, and engaging for your customers that was actually easier than you ever imagined to create. Now, as you've probably already realized, we're going to be doing a lot of things differently in this masterclass. But one thing's for sure, we're going to have a lot of fun together. Business doesn't have to be hard or serious. It can and should be a lot of fun too. And if you're having more fun in your business, then your clients and customers will too. We also list the first or next 5 wins on the homepage of the membership site to get people into fast action so they could gain some momentum. Now let me talk about how we integrated some of these experiences in other parts of the membership site. Mission. We always reinforce the mission by having this appear as the first button in the top navigation and the first page people land on when they enter the site. And of course, displaying the mission completes in countdown timer right on the first page. Future self. I try to incorporate the future self vision into the big picture description under each video on the membership site. Bird's eye view. This is reflected in the way the training drop-down navigation is set up and the overall structure of pages on the membership site. I also try to reinforce where people are in the overall process in the big picture description under each video, as well as on the schedule page. Constant wins. Each training video is assigned 1 point, and each action is assigned 2 points. Students can check trainings as watched and actions as completed under each video, on the main page for each module, or on the All Trainings page. Every training has an action attached to it, so people feel like they're not just learning, they're taking action and implementing too. Normalizing challenges. We include a video right on the front page of the membership site that lets new students know what to expect, normalizes challenges, and focuses them on the right learning track for them based on their level of expertise and the time they have available. Peak experiences. We try to design a peak experience around checking off trainings as watched and actions as completed by integrating multiple senses. Someone takes the physical action of checking off the box, they visually see the check mark appear in a few places, and watch the total points tally increase in the footer at the bottom of the page, and they hear the sound effect with 1 or 2 ka-chings. It's a multi-sensory experience. Feedback loops. On the site, our primary feedback loop is the support page with contact info, as well as the mission accomplished section, which I'll talk about in a moment. Community. We have a team page which shows our community of staff and coaches. Unstoppable momentum. Being able to see the total points they've earned in relationship to the total number of points available helps to show where they are in relation to their goal. We also have an actions page where people can see all possible actions they can take in the program. Then finally, mission accomplished. We have a section of the site where people can post their before and after story of getting from mission to mission accomplished, so we can celebrate each win and have the opportunity to check out other student successes too. There's a sheet in your 10x delivery checklist for your membership site, so you can see how many experiences that you can build right into your membership site. If you're not using a membership site, feel free to change the name of the sheet to something more relevant to your product. All right, now let's talk briefly about the Facebook group. I recommend posting regularly and sharing videos and Facebook Lives to reinforce your mission and future self vision. Remind people of constant wins, normalize challenges, create feedback loops, and help people create unstoppable momentum towards mission accomplished by addressing stuck points and creating a fabric of sharing and communication between trainings and calls. Facebook is a natural place to build community. People have peak experiences simply by witnessing each other's breakthroughs, celebrating each other's wins, and ultimately celebrating mission accomplished together. Use the Facebook group sheet in your 10x delivery checklist to keep track of how you're experiencifying your Facebook group for each week of your product. Now, let me end with a quick mention about physical products and gifts. When new mentorship students sign up for our mentorship program, we give them a care package with a beautiful Live Your Message journal and some other perks as well. We often send a physical postcard to new customers too. Simply getting something handwritten in the mail can create an emotional experience, as most people are used to only getting bills and junk. And we run the jump contest 2 weeks into the program and send out physical t-shirts that get people super excited. We also incentivize particular actions through Superbucks at key points in the program, helping people rebuild momentum at moments when they might have otherwise lost steam. Superbucks are a special Live Your Message currency, which people can use for future purchases with Live Your Message. While it's more expensive to send physical products and gifts, simply incorporating snail mail into your student, customer, and client engagement can make a huge difference. Go to the physical products and gift sheet in your 10x delivery checklist and decide whether you want to integrate physical products and gifts at key moments in your product delivery. If not, feel free to rename the sheet to something more relevant to your product. Okay, I hope you got some good ideas for implementing your very own experience escalation plan in your trainings. When you first get started with experiencifying your products, it may feel a bit awkward, but I promise as you keep doing this, it'll start to feel like second nature. In our final session in this module, you're going to create your experience product design and delivery schedule so you know what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. So you can rest assured that you're going to be able to create an incredible experience for your new students, clients, and customers. Now go out there and live your message.